Hey guys, today I'm going to show you the easiest way to build an AI persona chatbot using Botpress and StackAI. Let's do it. So in previous videos, I've shown you how to build a chatbot that can pull information from a knowledge base and relay that information to our website visitors. In today's video, I want to take that a step further and actually give our chatbots an AI persona and bring them to life on our websites. So in this video, we're going to set up a JFK AI persona chatbot that can pull information from all of JFK's most famous speeches and then relay that to our website visitors in the tone and with the same personality as JFK would himself. All right, let's hop right in. Okay, so step number one of building an AI persona chatbot is we need to set up a StackAI account. I will have this linked down in the description below for you. So just go down there and click and sign up, totally free account. And we're gonna create a new project. All right, and when we do that, we are brought to a canvas that looks very similar to Botpress, but it's slightly different. Now, what is StackAI and why do we have to use it? Essentially, we're going to use StackAI to bridge Botpress, where we're going to set up our actual chatbot that our customers are going to see, with ChatGPT or OpenAI, where we're going to actually build our AI persona with some prompt engineering. So StackAI is going to be the middleman between those two things. So come into StackAI here, and the first thing we need to do is we need to just drop in a couple nodes here, and I will explain all of these here in just a second. Firstly, we're going to drop in an LLM, OpenAI, or ChatGPT node right here, okay? So we're going to be able to just actually use ChatGPT from right here inside of StackAI. Next, I'm going to drop in a data loader document node, okay? This is where we're actually going to build out our JFK knowledge base, okay? We're going to drop in all of JFK's most important and famous speeches in documents into this node right here, and that will serve as our JFK knowledge base. I'm also going to drop in a vector store here, just a basic vector store, just like that, okay? And I'll talk to you about that here in just a second. Okay, so those are all of our nodes, and we will get to each of them accordingly as we go through this tutorial. But remember a few minutes ago, I said that the best way to build an AI persona chatbot is to do two main things. Firstly, you got to build a knowledge base that our chatbot can pull information from and relay to our clients or our customers on our website. And then two, you need to, on top of that, give the chatbot a persona by building in some prompt engineering using ChatGPT. So let's build out our knowledge base right now that our chatbot can pull information from, and then later in the video, we will give our chatbot its persona. So in order to build a knowledge base inside of StackAI, we're going to come down here to our documents node, and we're going to upload some documents or some information to this node. In this case, I have saved down 7 of JFK's most famous speeches to PDFs. I just found these online. And I'm going to upload these right now into our documents node down here. Okay, so we have all 7 documents uploaded to our node down here. This is going to serve as our knowledge base. And so what we want to do is we want to connect our documents node to our vector node, and then our vector node into our ChatGPT node. All right. Now, the reason we're doing this is essentially we need ChatGPT later on in the video to be able to reference some context that we're going to give it as part of its knowledge base. All right, so we need to make sure that these are connected. Now, you might be asking, what is this vector node doing right here? Why can't we just connect our knowledge base right into ChatGPT? You know, what is this vector thing doing? Well, essentially what this is doing is it's going to take our input, which is essentially the question we are asking JFK. All right, our input that our website visitor is asking JFK back in Botpress. We're actually taking that question or that input, and we're going to search all of our documents for the most relevant parts of those documents that we can then use as context to send into ChatGPT. That's a mouthful, but essentially, let's say I ask, hey JFK, should we go to the moon? What happens here is our input is fed into our vector store, which will then search all 7 of our speeches for the most relevant parts of those speeches that mentioned something about the moon. So instead of having to feed every single word of all 7 of those speeches into ChatGPT to figure out, this vector is going to basically parse those documents, find the most relevant information for ChatGPT, and then just send those bits, those most important bits, into ChatGPT to use as context. Okay, so that is how you set up your knowledge base. Now, the next thing we need to do is actually give our chatbot an AI persona. Make it feel and sound and act like JFK. In order to do that, we need to feed our question or our input into our OpenAI node right over there. Okay, so make sure that's connected there. We're going to choose a model. Okay, and I'm just going to use ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo 16K. Now, the next part is very important. We're going to come down to this system box, and this is where we're actually going to put in the prompt that is going to give JFK his persona. All right, so here's exactly what we're saying to give JFK his persona, okay? Yours is gonna look different than mine, but you wanna essentially just give your chatbot a personality, an identity. All right, so you are JFK, the 35th president of the US, you have charismatic leadership, you inspired a generation with a call to public service, et cetera, et cetera. For the purpose of this conversation, your responses will be centered around your presidential knowledge and experience. Users will ask you questions and you'll be provided with relevant snippets from your most famous presidential speeches. Okay, so that is the knowledge base that we just uploaded in our documents node. All right, your task is to answer these questions using your typical style and language as JFK. Answer the query as directly as possible. Assess the provided context to decide if it's useful, relevant to the question. Now that context is going to be our knowledge base that we're going to feed in to ChatGPT. All right, if it's not, respond with I don't know. Use only information provided in the context, so only use the knowledge base information to answer these questions from our users. Don't use general knowledge or anything like that. We just want to pull from those documents that we uploaded. Never mention the context snippets you're provided with. It should seem like you know the information and you are JFK himself. Avoid making references to yourself in third person. Always speak in first person. You are in an ongoing conversation with the user. And then very importantly, at the very bottom, you will also be provided with the recent chat history as context. We'll set that up later in the video. Essentially, we're going to give our chatbot memory so that each question it can remember and it acts like it's just having a conversation. If it's already answered something that you've asked it, it will remember that. And that is basically it. Create your responses to be aware of the recent messages, but always focus primarily on the most recent message. All right, so that is my prompt. You can use something similar. You can use something different. But essentially here with this prompt, you want to bring your AI chatbot persona to life. Okay, so I've pasted in that prompt right here into our system field. And then down here in the prompt, I just want to paste in something that looks like this, okay? So this is where we're going to pull in the context from our knowledge base. So you can see our context is going to be this vector 0, which is this name right here. So essentially, we're going to give ChatGPT this vector information. Remember, just the snippets that are most important from those documents. We're going to feed that into ChatGPT as our context, okay? That then our persona is going to use back up here to answer the question as JFK. All right, and we're also going to feed in the question from our user into ChatGPT, and that question is going to be right here, this in-0 or our input node right here. All right, so from a high level now, let's talk about what's going on here. Essentially, back in Botpress, back on our website, our user or our client asked JFK a question into the chatbot. That question, via an API connection, which we'll set up here in a few minutes, is pulled into our input node right here, okay? That question then feeds into our prompt in ChatGPT. So JFK has a question that he wants to answer. We've given JFK a persona up here with our prompt engineering and rules to follow for answering this question. We then also send that question to our vector node, which will essentially search all 7 of our speeches for the most relevant chunks of context to send up to ChatGPT. So in this example, should we go to the moon? Our vector will essentially look for any mention of moon or moon landings or space in our 7 speeches and take those most relevant chunks and feed that into our context right here into ChatGPT. All right, so we feed our vector into the context, and then our persona, which we set up here with our prompt engineering, will then take in our context that we feed in and our question, and with a bunch of prompt engineering, pop out an answer. And when we have that answer, we want to send that to our output field right here. All right, and that answer we're going to send back to Botpress via another API connection. So that is how we set up StackAI, just like that. Okay, I hope that made sense. I hope I simplified that enough for you guys. I know it's kind of wordy and kind of technical, but that is how we set that up. Now, a couple other things we want to do here before we go is we want to come into our OpenAI node come to settings, and we want to turn on memory. Remember back in our prompt, we said, hey, we're going to give you the most recent questions, factor those into your answers as well. So you want to turn on memory so it can remember what's been said earlier in the conversation. We're going to change our memory type to sliding window. That is essentially going to give ChatGPT a view of everything that's been said prior. So change that to sliding window. And the last thing I want to do is I want to come down to our vector node, our basic vector node, and I just want to crank this up to 5,000. Essentially, when it searches our 7 documents here, I want it to bring in 5,000 characters of information, just to feed in enough information into ChatGPT. Okay, so that's that. All right, so let me just show you what's going on here. If I hit play and we run this, and our question is, should we go to the moon? Well, let's see what we get here in our output field. All right, cool. So we got something. We chose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in the decade and do other things, not because they're easy, because they're hard. All right, so that is perfect right there. So that's our output that we're going to send back to Botpress in our next step via an API connection. Now let's hop into Botpress, set up our Botpress chat flow, and then set up these API connections between Botpress and StackAI so that we can get this AI persona chatbot up and running. All right, so I'm back in Botpress. I'm going to create a new chatbot, and I'm brought right here to our canvas. Okay, so we have a starting node and an ending node. All right, so I'm just going to drop in a standard node here, and this will just be, I don't know, intro. And I'm going to add a card, probably just a text card. And I'm going to say something like, hey, I am JFK, the 35th president of the USA. Something like that. Okay. I'm going to drop in an expression. All right, and that's going to be always true. Okay, if you are confused about what's going on here, I have another video that I will have linked right up here, right above, to walk you through the Botpress basics. But essentially, we're using that expression to get us to our next node. It's just a vehicle to get us to our next node. Okay, so I'm going to drop in another node, and this is going to be JFK question or something like that. Okay, we'll connect this. So this is the next step. All right, I'm going to add a card, and I'm going to pull in a raw input card. And I'm going to ask my user, what can I help you with? Okay, and whatever our user answers to that question, whatever they ask JFK as a response to this question, I want to store as a variable that we can then send back to StackAI. So this right here is the input that we're going to send right here to our input node back in StackAI. And in order to do that, we need to create a variable that is going to store that question and hold it for use later. So I'm going to create a variable, and I'm going to call it something like, I don't know, StackAI Query. Okay, and I'll just save whatever the question is into that variable. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some custom code here, and this is where we're going to create our API connection back to StackAI. So I'm going to drop in an execute code card. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to paste in some custom code. All right, now all of this code will be down in the description below, so don't worry about it. I don't know how to code either. Just go get it, copy and paste it in, and I'll walk you through exactly how to set it up right now. All right, so how is this code working? Essentially, what we're doing here is we're taking that variable that we just set up, that StackAI Query variable with our client's question or our website visitor's question, and we're going to send that as a payload into this input node back in StackAI, this in-0 node, which we have named right here, in-0. Okay, so whatever our customer asks in that variable, we're going to send as a payload to that node here. Now, if you named your variable something different in the prior step, you want to, type that in accordingly right here. Okay. So once we send that payload into StackAI, we're going to send it to our vector. We're going to send it to OpenAI. We're going to get a response and output, and then the output we want to bring right back to Botpress. All right. So if we follow our code down a little further, we can see that whatever our output is here, back in StackAI, whatever our out-0 is right here, we're going to save that to a new variable in Botpress called StackAI response. Now, we haven't set this variable up yet. You're going to want to do this right now. And to do that, we're going to come back to Botpress, just click right here on the canvas and add a variable and just give it a name. And it's going to be that StackAI response. Okay. So we have that variable now, so that when we go back to our custom code, we can see now that our StackAI response variable is set up, and whatever our output is will be saved to that variable, okay? So again, if you named your variable something else, you want to type that in here accordingly. All right, so that's how the code is working. Now we have to do two things here before we're done with this custom code. Firstly, we got to go back to StackAI. I'm going to come to export. I'm going to come to API endpoint, JavaScript. I'm going to grab this URL right here. So we're essentially, we just got to connect our StackAI to our Botpress. I'm going to paste that URL in right here, just like that. And then the last thing we need to do is we need to go get our API key from StackAI and paste it in right here over these X's. So to do that, I'm going to come back to StackAI, come to Profile, come to Keys, and I'm going to take this public API key right here. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it in right here over these X's, just like that. Okay. Now you don't want to share this key with anybody. I'm going to reset my keys here in a second so that you guys, can't hack my account or anything, but you want to paste in your API key just like this. Okay. And so now our custom code is all set up and good to go. So we'll come back to our Botpress canvas here and just tie up all of our loose ends. I'm going to add in a text card because we want to actually present the response from StackAI, from ChatGPT. We want to present that back to our website visitor. So drop in a text field and then come up here to our @ symbol, and we're just going to pull in that variable, that StackAI response variable, which is actually going to just pull in whatever our output field is here back into our text field back in Botpress. Okay, so that will present our answer just like that. I'm going to drop in one more text card here above our execute code that's just going to say something like thinking, just so as ChatGPT is churning away, our user can see that the bot is thinking. And then last but not least, I want to add in an expression here because I'm going to set up one more node. So I'm going to set up an always expression. I'm going to set up one more node that's just going to be like, hey, do you have any more questions or additional questions? All right. And so I'm just going to drop in a single choice field here. And it's just going to say, do you have any more questions for me? And so I'll add in yes, and I'll add in one more that says no. And if our visitor has another question, we'll just bring them right back here to our first node, our first question node. But if they don't have any more questions, we'll just end the chat. Okay. And then we'll connect these like this. All right. So from a very high level, they'll be introduced to JFK. They'll ask questions. They'll get a response. If they have another question, they will be brought back to our questions node to talk with JFK again. And if they don't, they'll just be brought to the end. All right. So let us test this all out now. We should be all set up and good to go. So I'll come to my chatbot field over here and I'll just say, hey. And there we go. So JFK goes, hey, I'm JFK, the 35th president of the US. What can I help you with? And I'll say, hey, what should we do to fix our economy? Or something like that. I'll hit enter. We get our thinking card and we can see that right now the bot is thinking because we've just sent everything back over to StackAI and ChatGPT is churning out. It's taking its prompt engineering that we put in, taking in the context that we've given it from our knowledge base, and spitting out this answer right here. Perfect. So our task is not merely one of itemizing failures, nor is it that wholly necessary. Blah, 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 blah. So it sounds like JFK. JFK is alive. We're talking to an AI persona version of JFK. Do I have any more questions? Yeah, I have another question. Should we go to the moon? We'll let it load again. It's thinking. Again, it's combining the information we fed into it from our knowledge base here and combining that with our prompt engineering AI persona here and spitting out an output for us. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do other things, not because they're easy, but because they are hard. Do you have any more questions for me? I'm going to say no. And at that point, our conversation is ended and the chat flow is complete. So guys, that's it. That's how you build out an AI persona chatbot by using Botpress and StackAI. If you guys like this video, go down and smash that like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing. That would be awesome. If you have any questions for me, get down in the comments and let me know. If you have any future videos that you want to see from me, also let me know that, and I will get moving on that as soon as I can. Thank you guys so much for being here. I love all the support you guys have given me over the last few months, and I'll see you all on next week's video. Peace.